You're standing at the gate, you've got your boarding pass in one hand, your coffee in the other, and you're just ready to get on the plane and sleep. But as you walk through the lane, a laser sweeps across your bag. A red light flashes on a screen you didn't even notice was there. There's no gate agent to argue with. There's no, oh, it's just the wheels. The screen simply says, baggage non-compliant. Please pay $75 to proceed. Welcome to flying in 2026. This isn't science fiction. This is the reality of the automated zero discretion gate. If your bag trips a sensor today, you're paying before you ever touch the jet bridge. You clicked on this video because you want to know the new rules. Good, because today I'm giving you the 24 power moves that are going to keep you off that fee screen and out of secondary screening. But here's the thing, it's not just about size anymore. In 2026, the airlines are using weight sensors, density flags, and even audible boarding alarms to hunt down sloppy packing. If you stick with me, I'm going to show you the tiny tweaks you can do at home and at the gate to slide right past these automated gatekeepers. If you miss even one of these, you're looking at the ultimate travel nightmare, the walk of shame. Back up the jet bridge to check your bag. Let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. You probably think your 22-4-9 bag is safe. You bought it at the store. The tag said carry-on approved, so you're good, right? Wrong. The laser at the gate doesn't care what the store promised you 5 years ago. These new automated sizers are essentially 3D scanners. They face you as you walk down the lane, scanning length, width, and height in milliseconds. And they're looking for protrusions. We're talking wheels, corner guards, handles, and even that bulky zipper pull you thought was no big deal. If even a fraction of an inch exceeds the airline spec, the system flags you. Now, US majors like Delta or United still mostly honor that 22-9 standard. But if you're heading to Europe or flying a low-cost carrier like Spirit or Frontier, those slots are shrinking. They're shaving an inch or two off the width or height to maximize bin space. The pro move, you have to measure like a machine at home. Don't use a floppy sewing tape. Use a hard ruler. Measure with the bag fully loaded. Most people measure their bag empty, but the second you stuff it, the sides bulge. If that bulge hits the laser, you're done. Aim for at least half an inch under the limit to give yourself a buffer zone. Okay, so your bag is the right size. Great, but now you're facing the invisible trigger density. I've seen people pack a perfect rectangle, everything neat and tidy, only to get pulled into secondary screening immediately. Why? Because that tight, pretty pack tells the X-ray scanner one thing. You're carrying a brick. When you overcompress your clothes using those vacuum bags or heavy-duty compression cubes, you're creating a mass that's hard for the X-ray to see through. The algorithm gets confused. It can't separate your items fast enough, and it flags you for a manual search. The strategy: stop building a dense core. Compression cubes are great for space, but don't stack them like a tower in the middle of your bag. Split them up, offset the seams, move your books and power banks away from the center of the bag. Think of it like this: you need to give the machine air to see through. If you fill your shoes with socks and place them heel to toe along the edges, you create natural gaps in the X-ray image. That's how you keep moving while everyone else is getting their bag turned inside out by security. You wouldn't take a test without studying, so why go to the airport without testing your bag? Your cheapest insurance policy for 2026 travel is a cardboard box and a box cutter. If your bag jams in the airport sizer, it's going to cost you $50 to $100. If it jams at home, it costs you nothing but a little time to repack. How to do it: look up your airline's exact dimensions. Build a cardboard U-frame that mimics those rigid metal cages you see at the airport. Now, here's the trick. Don't just drop the bag in. Slide it through lengthwise and widthwise. A lot of people forget that automated sizers in 2026 often use a diagonal check. If your bag is soft-sided and you've stuffed it so it looks like a football, it might pass the width check but fail the volume check. If it doesn't glide into your cardboard frame with 2 fingers of pressure, you need to repack. Don't gamble your vacation money on a maybe. Size is public knowledge, but weight is the ambush. In 2026, airlines are getting aggressive with 17 to 22 lb caps, and they aren't always weighing you at the gate. Kiosks and bag drop areas are now silently weighing your carry-on while you're busy printing your tags. If the scale under the floor sees you're over, the system locks your boarding pass until you pay a fee. The fix: you need a digital luggage scale. They're $10 online and they will save you thousands over a lifetime of travel. Weigh your bag twice, once when you finish packing and once the night before you leave. If you're cutting it close, remember that enforcement is tighter on international routes and smaller regional jets. I always tell people, pack to 2 lb under the limit. Why? Because scales aren't always calibrated the same. You don't want to be the person frantically opening their suitcase on the terminal floor because you were 8-0 over the limit. Here's a secret the airlines hate. The scale sees the weight in the bag, but it doesn't care about the weight on your body. If you're staring at that luggage scale and it's reading 20 lba, but your limit is 17 lba, don't start throwing things away, start putting them on. That heavy denim jacket, that's 212 lb right there. Wear it. Wear your bulkiest boots on the plane and pack your light sneakers. If you have a hoodie with big pockets, load them up with your dense items, wall chargers, cables, even that heavy metal watch, or your power bank. The loophole is that most carriers don't count the clothes you're wearing as part of your allowance. Put the layers on before you hit the check-in kiosk and again before you walk through the gate scan. Once you're in your seat, you can strip the layers off and tuck them into the bin. You just magically moved 4 or 5 lbs of weight from the bag to your person for free. If you want to pass the weight and density checks in one go, you have to master the electronics shift. Your laptop, camera body, and those thick power bricks are the heaviest and most suspicious looking things in your bag. They push your roller over the weight limit and they create those dark blobs on the X-ray that trigger manual inspections. The move. Move every single one of them to your personal item, your backpack, or messenger bag. Most airlines, even the strict ones, rarely weigh your underseat personal item. By shifting your bricks to your backpack, your main roller bag sheds 7 or 8 pounds instantly. Plus, when you put your laptop in a slim top sleeve and your batteries in a side pouch, the security scanner can read the layout in one pass. No clutter flags, no density alerts. You're through security and past the weight sensors before the airline even knows what hit them. We need to talk about overpacking in 2026. You have to pack like you're paying per item because, let's be honest, you basically are. Every single non-essential item in your bag needs to pass the 3 times rule. Ask yourself, am I going to use this at least 3 times on this trip? Those shoes that only match one specific outfit, they failed the rule. Leave them. That backup hoodie, just in case it gets slightly chilly, leave it. Extra toiletry bottles just in case. Leave them. The only exceptions are medications, IDs, and safety gear. Everything else has to earn its spot. When you cut the May, you reduce the density of your bag, you make it lighter, and you make it easier to flex into those metal sizers. Fewer items mean fewer decisions and 0 fees. If you're shopping for a new personal item for 2026, stay away from the mini hardshell cases. They look cool, but they're a trap. The machines at the gate are programmed for dimensions. A hard shell either fits or it doesn't. There's no squishing it. But a soft-sided backpack or tote fabric gives you options. Underseat areas vary wildly depending on the plane. You might have a huge space on a Boeing 787, but a tiny cramped box on a regional Embraer jet. A soft bag can be flattened, squished, or angled to fit around those annoying seat supports. The setup. Look for a backpack with top access. This lets you pull your laptop out in 3 seconds flat during security. Keep your medications and batteries in internal sleeves so they meet the dangerous goods rules. If an agent looks at your bag and sees clean lines and soft fabric, they're much less likely to pull you aside than if you're wheeling a rigid mini suitcase. We've all been there. You're at the airport, you see a cool souvenir, or you grab some duty-free snacks, and suddenly you have 3 bags. In 2026, gate agents are trained to count. 1 carry-on, 1 personal item. That's it. If they see a 3rd bag, even a small plastic one, from the gift shop, they're going to hit you with a repack speech or a fee. The hack: carry a thin, foldable tote bag in your pocket. Before you approach the gate, slide your purse, your snacks, and your gift shop bags into that one tote. Better yet, nest that tote inside your backpack. Visual compliance is everything. If the agent sees 2 items, you're compliant. If they see 3 items, you're a target. A lightweight tote keeps you looking organized and keeps the bag count fee out of your life. Speaking of looking organized, let's talk about gate clutter. Gate staff are literally scanning the crowd for chaos. They're looking for dangling straps, loose jackets flopping over rollers, open headphone cases, and water bottles hanging off carabiners. In a zero-tolerance boarding lane, messy is code for non-compliant. It draws eyes to you that you don't want. The cleanup. 5 minutes before boarding, clip everything in. Use small carabiners to lock your gear inside the bag, not outside. Stuff your jacket into a compact sack or wear it. Tuck your coffee mug inside your bag. You want a flat, clean silhouette. No flapping pieces, no noise. Tidy travelers glide past the podium because they look like they know the rules. Clean lines equals 0 checks. Gate checking happens. Even if you do everything right, sometimes the bins are just full. If a gate agent walks up to you with a pink tag, you shouldn't panic. You should be ready. This is why you need a safety net pouch. Inside your personal item, you should have a small, dedicated zip pouch. This pouch holds your mission-critical gear: passport, meds, phone charger, a power bank, and maybe a clean t-shirt. When that tag hits your roller, you don't stand there frantically digging through your suitcase. You grab the pouch, hand over the roller, and walk onto the plane. Remember the battery rule. You cannot let lithium batteries go into the cargo hold. It's a massive fire risk. If you have a smart bag or a spare battery in your roller, it must come out and go into your safety pouch. Having this ready makes you look like a pro and ensures your essentials stay by your feet, not in the belly of the plane. We need to talk about the liquid lie. A couple of years ago, everyone was excited about those new CT scanners that were supposed to let us carry full-sized shampoos. Well, as of 2026, a lot of that has been rolled back. In the UK and many parts of Europe, airports have returned to the strict 100 ml rule because of technical gaps in the scanners. I've seen travelers show up with huge bottles of expensive sunscreen, thinking the rules had changed, only to watch them get tossed in the bin. The reality. Assume the 100 ml rule is in effect everywhere. That means clear bottles, max 3.44 Oz each, all inside that 1-quart transparent bag. Don't gamble on advanced scanners. Repack at home, or better yet, skip the liquids entirely. The best way to beat the 3.4 ounces rule is to stop playing the game. Liquids, gels, and aerosols are what trigger the bag searches. Solid bars and tablets, they don't even register as a threat. The swap. Trade your shampoo bottle for a solid shampoo bar. Swap toothpaste for toothpaste tablets. Use a solid stick deodorant instead of a gel or spray. The TSA and European authorities don't treat these as liquids. That means you don't need a quart bag, and you'll never have a leak in your suitcase. Plus, these solid versions usually last 3 times longer than those tiny travel bottles. It's a cleaner pack and a faster lane. Your power bank isn't just a gadget. To the airline, it's a potential fire hazard. In 2026, they are actually checking the labels. If your power bank doesn't have a clear label showing its WH, it might get confiscated. The math. If your battery only lists milliamp hours, you need to do a quick calculation. Take the milliamp hour, divide by 1,000 end, and multiply by the voltage, usually 3.7 volt. For example, a 20,000 milliamp hour pack at 3.7 volts is 74 W hours. Anything under 100 W hours is generally fine in your carry-on. Between 100 and 160 W hours, you usually need airline approval. Anything over 160 W hours, that's staying at the security desk. Always keep your batteries in your carry-on, never checked, and cover the terminals with a piece of tape to prevent a short circuit. It sounds like overkill, but it's what keeps the plane and your gear safe. Did you know security can ask you to turn on your devices? It's a real rule. A dead phone or a laptop that won't boot up can look like a hollowed out shell used for something dangerous. If you can't prove it's a working device, they might deny it from the flight. The fix. Make sure every device has at least 20 to 50% battery before you hit the airport. Keep a compact charger in your personal item just in case you need a quick top-up. If the screen lights up, the security agent nods and you move on. Don't let a dead battery turn into a 4-hour interrogation. I love smart luggage, but it's your biggest liability at the gate in 2026. The rule is simple. If the battery can't be removed, the bag doesn't fly. Period. If you have one of those fancy bags with a built-in charger, the gate agent is going to ask you to show me the battery. The drill! Before you leave home, practice removing that battery. Don't wait until you're under the high-pressure lights of the boarding gate. If it requires a special tool or a weird latch, learn how to do it in the dark. Keep the battery in your backpack and keep the compartment door on the suitcase closed. If they force a gate check, you're ready. If you can't get the battery out, you're going to be watching your plane take off while you stand in the terminal with your smart suitcase. This is a weird one, but it trips up a lot of people. Butane versus lithium hair tools. If you have a gas-powered curling iron, you have to keep the safety cover on, and you cannot bring spare butane cartridges. One unit capped in your carry-on. If you have a cordless lithium styler, it must stay in your cabin bag. Most airlines have banned these from checked luggage entirely because of thermal runaway risks. Choose the right tool for your route. If you're flying a strict airline, go with a corded version and skip the battery drama entirely. It's one less thing for the sensors to flag. If you use a CPAP machine or carry other medical gear, you have more rights than the average traveler, but only if you know how to use them. Most airlines do not count a medical device bag against your carry-on limit. That means you can bring your roller, your backpack, and your CPAP bag. The setup. Keep your medical gear in its own dedicated bag. Have a copy of your prescription or a doctor's note tucked into the side pocket. And remember, CPAP batteries must stay in your carry-on. They follow the same WH rules as power banks. When you get to the gate, just tell the agent, this is a medical device. Usually they'll just nod and let you through. It's a legal way to carry more gear without paying a cent. In 2026, the software at the gate is getting mean. Airlines like American and United are now using audible alarms to catch gate lice. Those people who try to board with Group 1 when they're actually in Group 6. If you try to jump the line, the scanner will emit a loud, not your turn beep. Not only is it embarrassing, but it draws the agent's attention directly to your bags. Once you've annoyed the gate agent, they are much more likely to check your bag's size and weight. The strategy. Check in the exact second the window opens. This usually gets you a better boarding group. If you want early access to the bins, consider a co-branded credit card or look for the window middle aisle loading patterns. Be standing and ready when your group is called, but don't be the person blocking the lane. Clean execution gets you to the bin space faster. You don't need to pay for TSA pre-check or clear to skip the longest lines. Many airports now offer virtual lines programs like C-Spot Saver or MCO Reserve. You can book a 15-minute security slot 3 to 5 days before your flight for free. You show up at your time, show the QR code, and walk into a dedicated lane that moves way faster than the general queue. Why this matters for your bag? The less time you spend stressed out in a 60-minute security line, the more time you have to organize your bag for the gate sensors. Control your timeline, and you control your success. This is a classic, but it still works in 2026 for US domestic flights. TSA allows liquids to pass as solids if they are completely frozen at the time of screening. We're talking water bottles, smoothies, even soup. The catch? It has to be rock hard. If there's any slush or liquid moving around, they'll toss it. Freeze your bottle overnight, wrap it in a thin sleeve to slow the thaw, and take it through security. Once you're on the other side, it melts and you've got a full-size beverage without paying $8 for airport water. Just remember, this does not work in Europe or on international connections. If you're traveling as a pair, stop thinking like two individuals. Think like a team. Usually one person is a heavy packer and the other is light. If you both carry maxed out rollers, you both risk fees. The play, have one person manage a single perfectly organized roller bag. The other person carries a large maxed out personal item backpack filled with all the heavy stuff, laptops, batteries, and liquids. By consolidating the bricks into the underseat bag, the roller bag stays light and passes the sizer effortlessly. You're sharing the allowance to make sure the airline doesn't get a dime of extra revenue. Even in 2026, there is still a human element to boarding. The gate agent is stressed. They are being timed on how fast they can load the plane. If you walk up with a smile, your boarding pass ready, and your bag handles tucked in, you are low friction. Low friction travelers don't get checked. High friction travelers, the ones arguing on the phone, fumbling for their pass, or dragging a messy bag, are the ones who get targeted. Be the person who makes the agent's life easier. A little eye contact and a thank you can be the difference between a free pass and a $75 baggage fee. Before you step into that boarding lane, do a final check. Is your personal item tucked under your arm? Is your jacket zipped up? Is your roller bag handle retracted? You want to look like your bag is light as a feather? If you're struggling to pull a 30 tiras by roller, the agent will see the strain in your arm and pull you over to the scale. Walk tall, walk fast, and act like you've done this 1,000 times. That's how you turn those sensors into scenery instead of obstacles. Look, the gatekeepers are automated now. The era of charming your way out of a fee is over. Your edge in 2026 is precise preparation at home and clean execution at the airport. If you use these 24 moves, you're going to be the one sitting in your seat watching everyone else deal with the walk of shame back up the jet bridge. I want to hear from you. What is the toughest airport you've ever flown through? Was it Heathrow? Was it JFK? Drop a comment below and tell me how you beat the system. We're actually mapping out the strictest routes in the world for our next video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Safe travels, keep your bags light, and I'll see you at the gate.